Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the flock rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. I probably should have just made this one long video, but about an hour ago, I did drop my initial thoughts to the cuts and the initial 53-man roster and what I think might happen to some of the IR players. So make sure to watch that before this one. But this is an updated one because we just got new information about who the Ravens had signed and put on their practice squad. And we did lose a player to waivers, only one, but Kyu Blu Kelly did get claimed by the Seattle Seahawks, so he's officially gone, and it's short-lived. It is short-lived. We'll just get into that right away. Fifth-round pick from Stanford. I didn't mind him. I definitely wanted him to stay on the team. I did predict in my original 53-man roster predictions that I dropped on Sunday, I did predict that Kyu Blu Kelly would get cut just because I feel like he didn't help the team this year at all, really. And we have some cornerback concerns for sure. And the fact that in the first preseason game, we were decimated with corner injuries heading into that first preseason game against the Eagles, and they didn't put Kyu Blu Kelly in until the fourth quarter. So I was like, oh, man, that's a pretty early sign that they don't love what they see from him. But I thought he held his own in certain situations. He definitely has a lot of upside. I just think that they view him as a project corner and that they're not in a position to take on a project corner right now. We need guys that can play immediately. We need guys that can contribute this season. And we're probably next year in the draft drafting a cornerback or two pretty early. I would say that's a fact. I mean, we've been drafting a lot of wide receivers in the first round. I would almost bet the house that we go cornerback next year's draft first round because we need some young blood on this team in the cornerback room that has a lot of high upside. We definitely don't need a project corner, and I'm pretty sure that's why they took the risk of cutting Kyu Blu Kelly. They probably hoped that maybe he fell to the practice squad so that he could keep developing in this system, but they were like, if he does get claimed, that's a loss we're willing to take. And unfortunately, he did get claimed. So the Seattle Seahawks now have Kyu Blu Kelly. And I'll be watching his career from a distance just to see how it does play out. But yeah, we lost him. But the good news is everybody else that we cut cleared waivers. Did make some practice squad additions, and that's going to continue to fill out. But right now, here's where we're at. Our practice squad as it stands is Owen Wright, the running back, Ben Mason, fullback / tight end. We brought him back. O-lineman, Tykeem Doss. O-lineman, Tashawn Manning. Rashad Nichols, D-tackle. I like that one. Inside linebacker, Josh Ross. We were just talking about him in our last video. He's back on the practice squad. I do like that signing. He showed so much potential last year. I think he's still recovering from that injury and is not quite himself, but they clearly see some upside for them to keep him around. Wide receiver Sean Ryan had a great camp, great preseason. He's back on the practice squad. Wide receiver Laquan Treadwell also signed. I'm hoping they can keep Demas as well. I feel like Demas also has a lot of upside, but I like those. Quarterback Anthony Brown is back on the practice squad. That's a good signing. He's obviously very familiar with the organization. It seems like we're going to be able to keep all of our quarterbacks together. There's a few IR moves that are still going to come out. It's expected to be definitely Pepe Williams, Malik Ham, and Keaton Mitchell are right now expected to go on IR designated to return, which means they have to at least miss 4 games. I just got breaking news right now that Jeremiah Moon is also joining the practice squad. So love to hear that. It seems like a lot of the bubble guys, pretty much everyone we cut is headed back to the practice squad except Kyu Blu Kelly, who was claimed. And then another big name that we added to the practice squad that I'm super excited about is Travis Vokalek. He cleared waivers, which I was a little worried about after the preseason he had, but maybe all the other teams aren't watching what we're watching. They might not even be watching this close. That's what's awesome about being this dived into a team, is you get to really, really get some inside information and watch every snap of the preseason and know all the camp information. And we probably know more than some other teams know about Travis Vokalek. And he's staying around. He's on the practice squad. He's going to continue to get to learn behind Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, and probably battle with Kohler. And if we have any type of injury there, we can move Travis Vokalek up and he can get some playing time. I wouldn't be shocked by that. So with Jeremiah Moon just being added, we're officially at 11. We can go up to 16. So there's still going to be 5 more names that are added, but at this point, I'm making this video right now, just updating you exactly where we're at, but there is going to be 5 more names added, and there's going to be some IR moves too, like we said. It's expected to be those 3 guys, and then we're expected to bring in Josh Johnson to the active roster, Brent Urban to the active roster, and Kevon Seymour. So that's probably why they're not on the practice squad right now. Pretty much everyone that we released that we wanted to bring back, we are bringing back, except for Kyu Blu Kelly. So that is the biggest news by far in this entire situation. I'm really happy that we were able to keep a lot of these guys. The Kyu Blu Kelly situation does suck, and I'm sure that's not how Eric DeCosta planned his draft picks. You know, he only had a few draft picks, and he talked about how important this draft was this year because he didn't have a lot of draft picks, and we already lost our 5th-round cornerback, which is a position that we're thin at and have a lot of injuries at. I just think his release is a product of that situation. I think that if we were completely stacked at corner and had a lot of healthy corners, we would just keep him around. But the fact that we need corners that need to play this year, we have a lot of injuries. Marlon Humphrey's not there. A lot of inexperienced guys that are going to have to step into roles, and there's just no room to keep a project on the team. So I think that's what they were thinking, probably hoping he cleared waivers so that they could keep developing him, but he didn't. So good luck to Kyu Blu Kelly. He is no longer a Raven, and we're almost filled out this roster and practice squad. Like I said, there's 5 more practice squad slots, couple IR moves still to be made, but this is the most up-to-date information. If anything crazy happens, I'll hop on and make another video, but this is where we're at with the roster right now. And I truly still believe that there's a huge possibility that during the regular season, we make another trade for a cornerback. I've been saying it all offseason. I've never believed that we were set at corner with the guys that we have. And I know we've added Millette and Ronald Darby, who made the 53, but there's also health concerns with them, right? Ronald Darby's just coming off an ACL, like literally just coming off. He's 8-9 months removed from ACL surgery. And Arthur Millette has not been practicing at all. He's been dealing with an injury. Rock Ya-Sin was dealing with an injury, just came back. Jalen Armour-Davis was dealing with an injury, just came back. Pepe Williams is headed to IR. Marlon Humphrey's going to miss a game or 2. So it's not set by any means, and I would not be surprised if the Ravens pull off a trade for a cornerback. I don't know if that's going to come really soon before the season starts. I would say if I were to be a betting man on this situation, it would be closer to the trade deadline. And cornerbacks are really hard to trade because teams really value their corners, but near the trade deadline, there's always a disgruntled situation where this guy's going to be free agent and there's a contract dispute, and Roquan Smith's a prime example of that last year, right? We were able to pluck Roquan Smith, and then, boom, we get the deal done. We pay him what he wants, and now we got the best linebacker in the league. So I think that could happen with cornerback. I don't know if it'll be quite as big of a name as Roquan, but regardless, I still think a cornerback move is to be made because I'm not thrilled with this room still. I don't fully trust it. I do trust our defense as a cohesive unit to pick up the slack and still be a really, really good defense. But I would say by far our screaming weakness on this entire team is our cornerbacks. And there's definitely going to be another move to be made, but this is where we're at right now. We lost Kyu Blu Kelly. We're filling out the practice squad with most of the guys that we released. A couple more spots to go. And this roster is just a fluid, ongoing thing from here on out. So it's going to be a lot of movement, but I definitely can start to see the bigger picture right now. I can see where they're headed. I'm excited that we were able to keep a lot of these guys that were cut. But drop some comments below. I want to hear your thoughts. How are you feeling about the cornerback room right now? Are you upset that we lost Kyu Blu Kelly? Would you have made a different move or not? I think if we would have kept Kyu on the active roster and then maybe cut Mullet. He could have cleared waivers, but I don't know. Obviously, the team's thinking different. I think that most likely they just didn't feel that they had time to have a project corner on our roster, and Kyu Blu Kelly was never going to become an elite corner in their mind. 5th-round pick, just didn't have any elite traits about him. So they were like, hey, let's just move on and cut ties now. We know that this isn't our answer to be our starting corner, so let's just cut ties now. But it is weird to see a recent 5th-round pick in a draft that we didn't have a lot of picks already off the team. But it is what it is. This is where we're at right now. And, so stay tuned. We're going to constantly be updating the roster, constantly filling out the roster. There's going to be a lot of news coming. Eric DeCosta talks to the media on Friday. So I'm sure we'll get some more information and get some answers. But appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. As always, have a beautiful rest of your day. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.